Hello, my budding sommeliers. I'm here with Dory and Alex. Say hi, boys.
Hey everybody.
Introduce yourself. Say something about you.
Okay, so I'm Alex. I'm from Mexico. I'm studying at Western next year, so I'm very happy.
I'm
Awesome.
Dory. I just finished at Western and I'm going to Paris in a couple days for an exchange.
And a couple days ago, I came over to Dory's for a little farewell au revoir party, and he made some delicious mulled wine, and that inspired today's video.
Big hit amongst the guests who never imagined you can enjoy wine warm, and they all asked for the recipe, so I think a lot of them here will be drinking more of it in the weeks to come.
Yes, it was really good. And big shout out to Kyle, who helped with all the drinks for that night. That was awesome.
Kyle also added brandy for extra flavor.
And a little je ne sais quoi.
Enjoy the video.
All right, and
Enjoy.
without further ado, here we go. Hello, my beautiful budding sommeliers. My name's Steffi, and welcome back to Steffi's Wine Club. Today, I have the beautiful goddess Anne, who agreed to come from where she usually helps me out behind the camera, onto the really easy part that I get to do, which is just drinking wine with you guys, which is awesome. But in the Christmas spirit, as you can tell, very Christmassy still, we decided to talk a little bit about mulled wine. Oh, Anne is not from Canada, and why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am not from Canada, I'm from Denmark. So I look forward to this mulled wine, because it's, in Denmark we don't call it mulled wine, we call it gløgg. And we apparently, I think we call it gløgg in entire Scandinavia, but it's basically the same thing. But I look forward to tasting this one.
So we're gonna be making mulled wine a la Steffi's Wine Club here today, but I'm glad I have a proper European to guide me along the way, because us Canadians just haven't got it right yet. So obviously, being a bit of a wine nerd myself, I couldn't just leave it at mulled wine. I had to look up where mulled wine comes from, and I guess surprisingly, but not that surprisingly if you've been keeping up with me, because everything dates back to ancient Greek or ancient Roman.
Yes.
But it was invented by the ancient Greeks. Crazy, right? Yeah, so basically, yeah, I thought so too. But when you hear about it, it's not that surprising, because they were also the first people to really get into wine making, we think. And the wine that they didn't think was tasty enough just for like table consumption, they heated up on the stove, added some spices, added some sweetness, and we got mulled wine.
Which is the cover.
Yeah, they
Smart.
actually made it with like a lot of savory herbs like bay leaf and saffron and stuff back in the day, but now we make it with sort of our warming spices, as you would call it. Our nutmeg, our cloves, our cinnamon, those kinds of spices, which we have here to make with you. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that it's very popular now, since the Greek time. A lot of cultures all over Europe have had it, and each one has their own little different recipes. So my grandfather's Czech, and he told me about mulled wine, and I've seen mulled wine in the Czech Republic there, and it's different from gløgg in Denmark, which I've had, and it's different than glühwein from Germany, which I've had. So they'll have kind of sort of slightly different regional flavors for their mulled wine. And this one's not really one of them. This one's one that I made up from a recipe in my mind. Oh, and you have gløgg in Denmark. Can you tell us a little bit more about how it sort of fits into your Christmas festivities?
Well, when I was younger, I really didn't like it, because it is warm wine, and it is like an adult drink. But now I really like it. It really fits into the entire hygge concept we have in Scandinavia and in Denmark specifically, because it's warming when you've been like outside cold and you come in. And like just the smell of all the spices and like the heated wine, and it's so warming on the inside because of the spices and also the alcohol. But it's really nice.
Emphasis on this is an adult drink.
Yes.
Make this responsibly.
Caution.
As an adult.
But no, I really like it now. It is delicious.
Yeah.
So like, what are we doing?
So
what do we need?
Basically, I have this lovely little pot here. And we are gonna pour all the ingredients in. I've already measured them and everything, but we're gonna talk you through it, give you the measurements, and if you look down below, I'll also have the recipe posted there, so don't worry about writing it down as we go. Totally not necessary. That would be a bummer. Alright, so would you like to do the honors and open our giant bottle of wine?
Do you need a specific type of wine to do like mulled wine?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. No, you don't. Within reason. I would usually go for red. It's just like the more traditional. You said you've seen it in
I've
Denmark
seen,
with
yeah.
white?
My friend did it with the white wine, so it kind of depends on which type of wine you like.
Yeah, that's totally. That would be. I'd love to try that. I've never had that, but usually I just go for like cheap red, kind of like fruitier, not like too crazy alcoholic, because it just I don't know. But honestly, like any red that you have sitting around that you're like have marked away for like sangria.
Yeah.
Any wine you would use for sangria, really. You can use
Nice.
for mulled wine.
So we just poured the entire
Yeah,
thing
just
in?
pour the entire
Whoa,
thing in. I know,
okay.
kind of fun. It's a Magnum, so 1.5 liters. We have friends over. It's not just us.
It's gonna take a while.
So I have a little clementine round. So I have 4 small clementine. You can use mandarin too. Just use oranges of any kind. So these were quite small, so I used 4. And we're just gonna pour those in carefully without splashing everything. Perfect.
Delicious.
Okay, and next we have our little assortment of spices. Do you want to pick up that bowl that's in the front there?
Yes. What is in this one?
So in here we have 4 cinnamon sticks, 3 star anise, and 2 whole nutmegs. So yeah, let's hold them up so people can see. This is what a whole nutmeg looks like. I had no idea
I
until
know,
today.
it looks like a small eyeball.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this star anise.
Yeah.
It's like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Yes.
It smells like licorice. You can leave out the star anise if you really don't like licorice. It doesn't make the wine taste too licoricey. It's kind of just blends into the rest of the warming
So you
spices.
could put more in if
But
you
if you're,
like it.
oh yeah, we're putting in a little extra. We're putting in 3. 2 is like the recommended on the recipe I had, but 3 is how I like it now.
So could you do it? Do you need to do it whole, or could you do it with if you want to have like ground cinnamon?
You totally could do it ground, but it's going to affect the texture of the drink after because it's going to kind of like go in.
Okay.
So what I would suggest is if you're going to use ground spices, put it in a couple layers of cheesecloth and tie it up like a little bundle so it can soak, but then you can really easily take it out. I haven't tried it like that. Some might get through, but that's how I do other sort of infusions and cooking without getting lots of spices
Fancy.
into the food, so you could totally do that. But we're probably gonna use these spices a little garnish after, so
Yes.
it's fine if they're in the wine. So let's just
Dump
drop
it
them
in.
in. So that's 2 nutmegs, 3 star anise, and 4 cinnamon sticks.
Yes.
And
this one?
then, yeah, we have a teaspoon of whole cardamom and a teaspoon of whole cloves. Again, whole for that reason, but you could get ground if you find a way to make that
Yeah.
work. Or probably a tea strainer would work too. I haven't tried it that way, but I'm sure like a loose leaf tea strainer would be fine.
And just dump it in.
Yeah, just pour it in.
Yum.
And then we're gonna have our almonds. So I just have a little like half cup of almonds here. That's kind of just like a nice marzipan-y, sort of nutty flavor.
Oh, so this is because of the taste you put the almonds in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they're gonna get nice and soft. You can eat them.
Yeah, because I know in Denmark we often put like cut up almonds in it as well, and also raisins.
Oh.
But like more to the end when you make it, because then it's just the texture of the almonds
Oh,
and the
that
raisins
makes
in there,
sense.
and a bit of the taste. But more people don't like the raisins, but
Yeah.
it can be delicious.
All right, and then we have a half cup of brown sugar. Do you want to do that?
Yes,
honors?
I do. Is this for sweetness?
Yes, that's just for sweetness. You can use white sugar too, but brown sugar, I just think the flavor goes so well with the warming spices and just feels like baking. Now that we have all the ingredients in, I'm going to take this little spoon. I found a slotted one because then it lets you kind of scoop out the fruit after. You're going to need like another ladle, but that doesn't really work for mixing anyways. So, use this little slotted spoon, but any wooden spoon or plastic spoon that's not going to melt when
And you just
put it on
pour
the
it
stove.
around?
Yeah, you just mix it around until the sugar is kind of dissolved because you don't want all the sugar to sit on the bottom.
Oh, true.
And you can kind of like, just like crush the oranges a tiny bit.
But they will get really soft when you cook it, right?
Yeah,
So-
totally.
Yeah.
So it's not quite like sangria. You don't have to mush it around too much because the
Okay.
heat kind of does that for you. So
How long do you cook it for?
stir. So that's another interesting thing, and it's really handy for the holidays because it can cook anywhere from 15 minutes to hours. So you can literally put a pot of this on the stove when you have people over or something for Christmas, holidays, and people can just take as it's cooking, and as time goes on it'll get more spiced, more flavorful. But really at no point is it going to be unpleasant to drink. It's going to taste pretty good from
always
15
good.
minutes on. So
Yeah.
that makes it the perfect little holiday treat to have just sitting on your stove whenever people come over.
So if there are a bunch of these ingredients that people don't have, would it be possible just to do it with, like, what's the most important ingredient in this one?
Totally. So,
Or like spice? 'Cause
Yeah,
the
totally.
wine is pretty important, but
totally. I'd say you're always going to be able to find oranges wherever you are, hopefully. So, always have the oranges. The cinnamon sticks and the cloves are probably the easiest to find. I found those in like every grocery store I went to. The star anise, the whole cardamom, and the whole nutmeg were a little hard to find. I ended up finding them at an Asian grocer. So, if you have like a Chinese or a Thai grocer around you, they have a lot of really cool spices we don't always have in our stores, and they often have them sold whole instead of ground up. Like we tend to have them in like just our normal grocery stores. So that'd be my hot tip. But if you really can't find it, last week we made it with the bare minimal of just like the sugar, the cinnamon, the cloves, and the oranges, and it tasted fantastic.
Yes, it
So
does.
this is just a little extra spice to make your holidays extra nice.
yeah.
I hate myself too, don't worry.
Let's go cook this up. I
Let's
want
go
more
cook
wine.
this up. Ooh. Alright, so welcome back. I mean, welcome to the same place you were. We're coming back because we have just cooked the mulled wine. If you want some pictures of what it actually looks like while it was cooking, we have some on my Instagram. But basically, it looks like all the ingredients we put in here, plus wine.
And it cooked for an hour.
Yeah, we did about an hour, but you could definitely do shorter or longer. We just had an hour to kill, so
Yeah.
thought why not? How does it fare to your glug?
Oh, it's really good. Like, as I said, I think we take out a bunch of the spices after it cooked, and then we put in the almonds and the raisins, so it tastes really good. I
Oh,
like when
yeah.
there's stuff in it as well. I tasted it at the Toronto Christmas market, and there weren't a bunch of, like, ingredients in it.
Yeah.
But I kind of like when it has some bite to it with, like, the almonds and the raisins.
Yeah.
But if it cooks for longer, will the alcohol evaporate? I don't know if that's a weird question, but
No,
we'll see here.
it's totally a good question. A little bit will, of course, every time you heat it up and a little bit of water and alcohol evaporates, and that's why you get the steam. But as long as you're not boiling it, as long as you're letting it on a very low simmer, just kind of heat up like very consistently and like all together, you should be okay. It won't lose all of its alcohol. If you want it to be more alcoholic, you can always add brandy. Last time we made it, I added some Grand Marnier. But I just kind of like it on its own. I don't really need something that alcoholic
Yeah.
during the winter. I drink enough alcohol, I think.
It's very much like what you want it to taste like, I guess.
Yeah, it tastes really good. It just tastes
does
like
taste
Christmas
really
and warm in my stomach. So good. So I guess we'll sign off. My name is Steffi,
My name is Anne.
and we are. No, I'm kidding.
What?
And thank you so much for watching Steffi's Wine Club again. You know the drill. If you want to make me and Anne really happy, because Anne is very invested in this channel,
I am.
you can like, comment.
Subscribe.
Yeah, she knows the drill, and so do you. And until next time, I guess we should do it with a traditional Danish cheers.
Yes.
Because we are drinking glug. So,
Skål!